All right. Hey, how is everyone doing? My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Wednesday night portrait drawing class. We always get together every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we switch off. We go back and forth between male and female. Tonight we're going to be drawing a great picture of an artist that you have been influenced by. How about that? I'm going to explain that to you. Let me bring this up right here. Before I do that, let's see there. Where is it? Hold on here. There it is. Okay. This gentleman right here. Let me tell you, I only discovered this guy actually today, believe it or not. But there's a reason why. Okay. Um, this gentleman's name is Lorser Feitelson. Lorser Feitelson. Now, who is he? Yeah, that's a great question. Let me show you who he is. So, I have this picture of him right here, and here is this woman was doing a video on some of his work. So I could zoom in here. Here's a leg. You see that? Well, why is this guy so important? Well, this guy, let me just kind of show you because I'm always fascinated with this. This guy had a student, had this guy, gentleman, as a student. Now, his name is Harry Carmine. Harry Carmine. Take a look at this. This is a book I have of Harry Carmine's work. Let me see if I can get a pretty good picture here. Okay, so this is a good one. All right, so here is a nude model that, let me put it right here and get rid of this picture here. This was a drawing by Harry Carmine. All right, now check out this. This is interesting. Here's his work. Now look at this. Talking about how a student kind of can you see similarities? This was his teacher. This is Harry Carmine. All right, follow me on this. This is going to get good, okay? So we have Harry Carmine's work. All right, there's Harry Carmine right there. Here's a picture of him right there. Okay, now who is Harry's student? All right, who is Harry's student? Well, Harry's student was this gentleman right here. This gentleman here, his name is Carl Gnass. Carl Gnass. And once again, look at the similarities in style from Carl Gnass. Three next, master teacher, master student, all the way up. And why is Carl so important? Because he was my teacher. He's the one who changed everything for me many, many, many years ago. So I just thought that was quite fascinating as I start looking back from teacher, student becomes a teacher, picks up a new student, and it just keeps pressing down through the ages. Now, I have not drawn figure drawings for a while, and I can tell you right now that I have not taken, I haven't done any work with Carl for many, many years. So my style is, I can see similarities, but it has definitely evolved itself. But anyways, I just thought it was pretty interesting as you go back in time to see who the teacher and student was, and you could see just influences passing down. So anyways, with that being said, let's get into tonight's drawing and go back to Lorser Feitelson. Now, interesting thing about this guy, he was. I even looked to find out if he was a student of any master. What I was hoping was I could keep tracing this lineage back. I thought, wouldn't that be fun if I was able to figure out all the way back to some like Renaissance master and just kind of see this pass through the ages. But this is as far as back as I got. He ended up taking a variety of classes in Europe And so I think he just had a bunch of he a bunch of different teachers. He ended up not becoming a full-time student, but part-time. So, he had his influences, but the trail runs cold there. So there you go. So at least you could trace it back to this guy up through me, and then now you. All right? How about that? So you've got this guy was drawing, I think, in the early 1920s, possibly. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, you almost have 100 years of teacher to student being passed down through. That's kind of neat, huh? So, all right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, I am live, so if you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and we will get rolling here. Let me get my little, I need to get my little picture up here. And there he is. Okay. All right, let's move that out of the way and let's get started. Okay, so what I'm using tonight is I'm using my go-to. I'm using a Crayola colored pencil. I use these because I just love the lead, and Crayola is super cheap. And I think you just can't get a better pencil. The only thing is they're made out of wax, so there's no erasing. So I will try and draw lightly when I do it. Okay, let's go ahead and do this here. And first thing I'm going to do as I draw his head, he has a very well-defined straight edge. This is a 3/4 view. So when we draw a 3/4 view, look at my head here in a 3/4 view. This side has a straight, and then we're very round in the back. Let me show you this here. My little skull here. Okay, so look how round. It's very round when you look at the side view, but when you look at a front view, it's actually very flat along the sides. Okay, so a 3/4 view is always going to have like a flat side and then a round side. So let's keep that in mind. So let's start off with this picture of Lorser, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to drop in a line to suggest the side of his face. That's where I'm going to start. Then, the top part of his head has a round aspect, so we're going to just I'm going to come around like this. Okay. And then we're going to just we're going to make some adjustments here, but you kind of see what I've just done. And I can already tell we're going to make some adjustments, so it's okay. We're all good. So we're going to come down here right about kind of halfway, and let's get this angle. Let's get that angle of his brow line. All right, this is the angle that comes right across his brow. And I even think I might even come a little bit lower than that. All right, next thing we want to do is, if this is your first time with me, or if you have ever drawn, or if you're a seasoned professional with me, meaning I know some of you may be a professional, some of you might be a seasoned professional student with me, right? One thing I recommend is that really helped me to get my portrait stuff down is I started making a list of step by step what I was doing. So as I go through this list, you might want, in my head, you might want to just dot these little marks down. So, okay, so we got the side of our face, the round, we've got our brow line. All right, next thing we got to figure out is where is the temple? Temple's the little nulges right here on the outside part of your eyebrows. And what you want to do is place that, looking at his head here, it's almost like halfway from this side to the back of his skull. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a shot and put it right about there. And then this usually tells me like where the side of his face is. All All right, where the side of his face starts. Okay, so from this corner to this corner, let's get the center line. Now, center line is the part that's going to go right through the center of his face, right? So we're going to drop down just like this. And then I'm going to put his eye line. His eye line is going to be just kind of right underneath the brow line. We'll just kind of rough that in for right now. We might make an adjustment there. From his brow line, let's kind of estimate the bottom of his nose. And so I have to look carefully here. I'm going to say the bottom of his nose is going to be right about there. And typically you could take from here to the bottom of his nose, and you take that same distance, and this will tell you about where the bottom of his chin is. So this has become much smaller than what I originally imagined, but it's okay. We're going to come over this with dark lines, and that will help to, this is going to be this bottom of his chin right there. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and start breaking this down just a bit more. So starting here at his brow line, right at the center line, he has the glabella. It's right here between the eyes. So we'll just come in here like this. And this one's going to be, because it's a 3/4 view, this is going to be straight up and down, where this is going to come in right at an angle. Then we want to think of the bridge of his nose and get this angle right, just like this. Look at that. And one area I'm like also looking at is like how much negative space from the bridge of his nose to the side of his head. We could adjust this later on, but this is one area I kind of look for. All right, then we get the bottom of his nose here, and it's quite a bit in shadow. The ball of the tip here, right? And if you look carefully, right along this edge right here, you could see his nostrils. So let's just add that nostril right there, peeking around, and then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. This is like the ball here, and it's, okay. All right, from this glabella here, you could see this kind of goes down the side of his nose, and you can kind of like block this in. Look. Underneath his nose, it's going to be a rounded area. This is called the ball of the mouth. And you see how much of a ball the ball of the mouth is, like this. So here we can, and it also causes these wrinkles to kind of come around here. So let's see here. Let's come over here like this. Keep it light. This one's close, and then this one gets a little bit more wider over here. You see that? And then the center line is going to go over around it. So it's just like that. Okay, bottom of the nose. I believe this is the septum right here. So let's get the V of his lips. And now this is where you have to look really carefully now. You have to look carefully, and you have to judge what you see and not what you think. So this, if I follow along this line here, it's going to come down and then up. And it's short. It doesn't go that far. So let's see. I'm going to come around like this and then up. Now this, on this side of the V, it's almost twice as long. So we come up. And if I look carefully now, this lip has a bit of another V. You see how it comes in together like that? I'm going to lightly add a nice value there. Okay, let's put the bottom lip in now. Now, the bottom lip, if you look closely at the picture, here I could even zoom in just a little bit here for you. And while I'm doing this, don't forget, I need you all to like and subscribe to the channel. I need you to comment. All that good stuff, okay? All right. Look where the bottom lip starts. It starts almost like right there. You see that? So let's come in down here now. And where does it end? It almost ends like right there. All right. I'm going to come back in here now and really darken this upper lip. Okay. And then look at that. Look at the shadow that's happening right underneath the lower lip, and the shadow stops when it gets to the outturning of the chin. You see that? So we gotta make sure it's sharp here. It's sharp at the bottom. Okay. And then we're gonna add our chin down here. All right. Let's come up here now, and I always like to work on the eyes, but you know, before we do, I can darken in this nostril a little bit. We'll come back. We'll come back with those nose there. We could do a little more work here. Look at this. It has this. Look at the shadowing there. It's like casting a shadow downward, just like this. Let me hold that up to the camera so you can see what I've done. All right. Okay, let's get these eyes in. So starting here at the wing, let me make this picture smaller now. I'll tell you, we'll just keep looking closely at it. There you go. Okay. Starting here at the wing, if I go a line straight up, what lines up with the outside wing of the nose? If I look at this, it's almost like the inside pupil. You see that? So let's get the tear duct. It's going to be about here. And this is going to come up. 1, 2, and it's almost like that angle. You see that? All right, what about the other side? Where does the tear duct? Tear duct is it lined right up no, it's also a little bit on the inside. This is going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, looking at the size of this is going to be his eyeball here, but the pupil, where is that pupil? Okay, that pupil's pretty small here, and it's flat on the bottom. And he has that little bit of a highlight, so I'm just going to drop in that and then jump to the other side. And again, I want to make sure these are the same, roughly the same size here. And you know, the thing about drawing portraits is to get comfortable with it, it just takes a lot of time of investment into it. So you just keep at it. Even if you go week after week and really hate your results, you stay with it. It just takes time. All of these YouTube videos where people are like, oh, do this quick one little idea, they're just full of garbage, because it's not that easy. And people who've been drawing it for a long time make it look easy because they have so many years of practicing it. But here's the deal. It's a lot of fun. It's worth the effort. It's really worth the effort. All right, let's get that other eye. I'm going to get that other eyelid in. Look at they converge here. Okay, he's got these, look at this over here. Now, this is where you've got to really get this. Look how dark of a value the whites of his eyes are on this side. Look at that. And then the highlight on his eyelid. Wow, that is really bright. So you want to make sure that you are giving a lot of brightness to that. Okay. All right, let's come over here and he's got this eyebrow, right? And then this eyebrow gets very dark in here. The shadow gets very dark. Okay, let's come over here. Okay, we've got this, so then we're gonna, this kind of curls up like this, and then this is gonna come down on this side. You see that? Just kind of following the face there. Yeah, don't ever try and draw a person's likeness. Always look to get the construction of their face. Once I stopped focusing on likeness, and I started just to really focus on their face, the construction of it, boy, things got so much easier. I don't know why. Okay, look at this. look at this. This eye needs to be much darker. Okay. All right, that's what we got going there. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Do I see it on my skull here? Not really. So I'm not going to show that. But right up here. Look at right up in here. You see, this is the edge right there. Boom. And then and I do a little bit of an overlap here, and then. So let me zoom out of this just a little bit here. All right. Let's get the side of his face here, okay? All right, we're going to come down and we're going to get his, if I'm here, his cheek is going to be out here. That's going to bring me right down into his chin there. Okay. Here is this. Now look at this little area here, right above his. This is this visor. All right. This keeps this gives a lot of protection for your eyes because this part of the skull pops out almost like a visor there. You see it. It comes out and then goes in. And you could see there's some shadow right here. You see this? Okay. All right, look at this. Where is his widow's peak? It's kind of, is that like right about there? I think that looks pretty good. And then this kind of, think about this overlaps. You see, and then I'm going to just go ahead and put a straight line here. And then where this is to the outside of his, this little curve up here, it's right to the outside of his eye. So it's probably like right here. Come on down here, and then where's his sideburn? His sideburn is going to be right about there, I think. Okay, now, look at this now. Look how I've really extended his back of his head here. So I got to pull that in. So let's see. Let's get his ear in place. And his ear is a little bit higher. Look at this. And I'm just kind of going around the outside of his ear there. A contour drawing of his ear. Where does his lobe line up? Lobe lines up almost with right above this wing here. So that looks pretty good, just like this. All right, we're gonna drop this down right to his jaw. And then this is gonna circle around just like this. Oop, I was talking about the ear and I didn't even show it to you. All right. All right, let's come over here, get this side of his hair here. very close to that. Straight line, look at this. All right, and then what's happened up here? So we're coming down, and I'm just drawing like contour of his hair. And I always say, make it like a sculpture. Think of it as if you were doing it out of clay. All right, making my way right around there. Let me zoom in here. Nope, no, not like that. That's gonna, there you go. All right. All right, let's get his ear in here, right? A little bit of an overlap right there. You know, I have this drawing class called the Daily Draw, We get together every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And on Wednesdays, we always look at something that has to do with portrait design. Tuesdays, we look at perspective. Mondays, we look at things natural. Thursday, we look at character design. And Friday, always look at animals. So, and that is one of the best, I think it's the best deal you could find of drawing that's continuous. And if you just, you know, a lot of times I talk about practice all the time, and practice is, you know, how do you practice? What should you do? Well, I set the daily draw up so it becomes your practice. So just by showing up every single day, that would give you a half an hour of drawing. And I'll pick the topics for you. All you have to do is show up. That's all you got to do. And it is very inexpensive. $10 a month. Oh, by the way, on that note, so anyways, I will put a link for the daily draw in the comments as soon as we're done. And it's a class that I designed for myself, actually, because I really struggled with practice. I struggled to consistently stay at it. And once you start showing up and doing it on a regular basis, I think that you will find that getting to know everyone in the class, I see your name pop up, and it just makes for a fun community to practice drawing. All right, let's see here. Let's get some tone over here. So the daily draw. Also, if you didn't know, one of my favorite illustrators recently died. And I bet you all have seen his work. In fact, we should probably do a class in 2 weeks on him. You all know his work. You've seen his work. You grew up with his work. The artist's name is Drew Struzan. Drew Struzan. Does anyone know who Drew Struzan is? Drew Struzan. If you know who he did, if you know the name, or if you knew what he was famous for, put it in the comments right now. I'm curious of how many people know of his work. If you know who that is, Drew Struzan. Don't look it up. Just kind of see if you know who that is. I'll give you guys a minute before I let the cat out of the bag. All right, we got this. Look at this little pencil mustache, man. We don't do those anymore. Drew Struzan. Anyone know? Well, did anyone grow up seeing Star Wars? Yeah? You all Star Wars fans? Are you all Indiana Jones fans? Are you all Harry Potter fans? Well, Drew Struzan is the artist who drew and painted every single one of those movie posters that I just mentioned. Every single one of them was his work. So all the Star Wars, all of the Harry Potter, all of the Indiana Jones, and I'll tell you, just countless of other movie posters you would just not believe. So do me a favor, find out about him. Look him up when we're done, and we'll definitely draw his portrait in 2 weeks. Okay, we'll do Drew Struzan. We'll look at his work. So check that out. Be inspired by it, right? All right. All I'm doing right now is just kind of looking over. Wow, look at that. I really got those. I've got those eyes way far apart. Wow, I think I'll just like do this. How about that? I'll just keep my thumb right over that eyeball right there. See, look at that. Even me, I can't get it all exactly right all the time. I'll like it better in the morning. I always like these things better in the morning, but definitely probably that eye needed to be tucked in a little bit further. If I was, but listen, I'm using my, I'm human, right? So you could see it's like, well, if Kurt is off all the time, maybe I could be. Maybe there's hope, right? All right. All right, let's see here. What else can we do here? Let's get some dark value under here. Yep. When I was in college, when email, I went to the college I went to was Art Center in Pasadena, and when I went to college there, and I did not major in drawing or anything. I majored in graphic design, and I was too lazy to put any time into drawing. But after I had graduated there, and this is right around when the emails started coming online, and you could kind of guess what a person's email address was. And I actually emailed Drew Struzan, just talking to him a little bit, and when he found out that I went to Art Center, he's like, "Oh, my studio was right down the street. I would have invited you over. Oh, what an opportunity I missed out on, right?" But, oh well, that's the way it goes, huh? Hey, listen, I think we're going to end it right there with that good story. I appreciate you all for watching and tuning in. I hope you learned something, learn a little bit of art history and some artists who have had impact on my life, and hopefully I can pass those things on to you. So thanks for watching, everyone. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Now go out there, make your day great. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.